who called upon the people of Great Britain to examine whether God's image dwelt in white and black the same. For the first time, because they had begun to see what this issue was from the slave's perspective, the issue began changing. The culture began accepting what William Wilberforce was preaching to it, and Parliament shortly followed. I tell that story because we have a unique challenge. How do we make someone who to our culture is nameless and faceless, how do we make them human to the culture that we live in? How do we do that? It's quite a challenge, and for a long time, I had been pretty dumbfounded by this question, until one thing happened. I was standing in front of a graphic abortion display at Arizona State University, and this was kind of a provocative display, so a lot of students walked past it and reacted however they would, but I walked up to the display. I thought it was pretty interesting, and I walked over to a young man who had walked up to the display and put his hand over his mouth. And this young man quivered, and I introduced myself to him, and I only learned two things about him that day. One, that his name was Mark, and second, as he pointed at the abortion, the graphic abortion picture behind him, he told me this: when my mom got pregnant, she went to the doctor, and the doctor recommended that she get an abortion right then and there. That should have been me. Now, how do we make the unborn human to the rest of the world? Here's my theory. It's that the closest thing to the unborn is what the unborn would have been. And that, my friends, is one particular kind of person in this room. It's a young person. It's a student. 22% of our generation was aborted. You are what the unborn would have been. You are the representation of their humanity, and that's why you are most and best equipped to be a voice for the voiceless and to stand on that street corner. With this story comes the responsibility to steward it well, to use it well. And I think that brings us to the street corner for why we're all here today, and to some new expectations. During that campaign that we led, 40 Days for Life, 1 block away from Arizona State University, the largest university in America, we learned a few things. One, we learned what it looks like to have a drive-by mooning. It was interesting. But yeah, you take a lot of flack when you're out there. If you're a white male like me, you get to take even more. It's pretty fun. Anyway, but there's a couple things that we learned, more importantly, on that street corner. First, most of the women walking into this Planned Parenthood abortion clinic were my age. They were your age if you're a student. They're between the ages of 15 and 25, walking into that abortion clinic. That is the most vulnerable population in the state of Arizona. That's us. Second, when we brought a bunch of young people to the street corner, even as we got yelled at all day long, there was an amount of energy that was infused into the crowd, that people could look at this and see this is not a movement that we can ignore because the young people are coming. No, not even that. They're already here, and they're standing there, right there, where we can see them. The last thing we learned was that there should be a kind of a redefinition of expectations. That if you're a young person, you're more than a sign holder, per se. I was 17 years old, and when I went onto the 40 Days for Life website to sign up to lead a campaign, I got this little notice that if I wasn't 18, couldn't sign up for legal reasons and stuff like that. So I found a friend and we did that. But after 40 days, what we had learned was that there could be a wealth of new things expected from people who have the story. As the 78%, you make the most compelling pro-life voices in the world. And because of that, I think the expectations are higher for you. I think today, you should resolve to go out onto the street corner to pray. And then after this 40 Days for Life campaign, I think you should resolve to do something even bigger than that. Put simply, I guess one last thing. When you go onto the street corner, it really all comes down to this. This, in a sense, is the last place where you have an opportunity to change the mind of a woman in an unplanned pregnancy. This is the last opportunity that you have to love her and to show her the truth. But there are two humanities at stake, and I want to encourage you to do one thing. First of all, you are there to represent the humanity of the unborn. And because you do that, you will be called names, drive-by moonings might happen, who knows? There could be all kinds of adventures coming at you. But what many people will be interested in mostly when they walk past you, or when they see you holding those signs, as students or old people, all the same, will be this. They will want to know how human you are. And if you show them smiles, and you show them compassion, and you show them something that's more than facts and angry justice, then what you bring to that street corner will showcase the humanity of the unborn in an incredible way. So, students, it all comes down to that street corner, and I believe this 40 Days for Life campaign, it all comes down to you. Thanks.